Well, happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today for another episode of Keeping It Real with America's Supermom. I'm excited to have my next guest. We actually got connected through networking. Actually, it was networking on LinkedIn audio. So if you guys haven't tried out LinkedIn audio, I'm telling you, you can meet some great people. So I have Eileen with me. We've actually been together on a Zoom call, and now we are here for an interview. So I'm excited to dive into some great topics. One of the things that really piques my interest is minimalism. So I have 15 kids and I'm still trying to figure that out, how to be minimal with that. So we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But before then, Eileen, I want to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Michelle, for having me on your show. And, it's been an amazing connection that you and I have created, and lots of collaborations already happened. And I'm
Mhm.
sure there's more in our future. So I am Eileen Bild. Hi. I am CEO of Ordinary to Extraordinary Life, founder of the Core Thinking Blueprint Method, and founder of OTEL Universe, where we have a platform for helping people to realize their passions, visions, and dreams. I'm a published author, internationally syndicated columnist, breakthrough S.P.A.R.K coach. So I have a lot of hats that I wear, but they're all connected.
I love that. And you have me at ordinary to extraordinary. So give us some tips on how we can make that happen just from ordinary to extraordinary. I've heard that there was a saying or some quote that I heard from Jim Rome that talks about ordinary to extraordinary. So, what is your thought about that?
Great question. So, a lot of us walk through life just thinking we're just going to our jobs, we have a family, we raise kids, and it's just kind of ordinary. However, within that, there's always some part of us that is extraordinary, that
Hmm.
we have this uniqueness about us, something that makes us who we are. So there's something that makes you, Michelle, there's something that makes me, Eileen, and we're not the same. It's what people are attracted to. So to be in an extraordinary mindset, it's to tap into that authentic part of the self that shines, that heart song, that passion, that reason for living, that reason for getting up in the morning,
Hmm.
and bringing that into the world in whatever capacity that we can do it. For some people, it's being a musician. For others, it's being a mom of how many kids do you have again?
15.
15 kids. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Writing, music. I already said music, acting, being a leader, anything that we put our minds to, we can take it to the next step, take it to the next level of extraordinary, and take ownership of that and show up as that extraordinary person because we
I,
all are.
I love that. And I think that that is so true because I notice the different things in my children, that I feel might be extraordinary. But for a lot of people, we are so focused on ordinary that we often miss those extraordinary things that are right in front of us. So, what advice do you give people to really capture that for themselves? Because I think even now, we're in this pandemic and people really struggle with that. They weren't able to pivot or change their career or change their focus because they were so used to this pattern of the ordinary life that they didn't realize that they had an opportunity to create something different in some cases.
So thoughts are coming through my mind as you were talking. One thing is our bucket list. Um,
Mm,
Tap into that now. Don't wait until whenever I'm going to, start going down my bucket list. Do it now. Do it
mm,
now. And you can. Everything in life's about a choice. And I like to say life is a series of conversations, choices, and experiences, right? And we are the creator of those. So in order to find that place within ourselves that identifies us as the extraordinary, is to do some inner work and discover, well, what am I hiding? What has been suppressed? What has not been heard, valued, understood? and try to do that for yourself, but also for those listening and watching. You can help your friends, your family, your children, to go into that by holding space for them to find that place. And it's to help them to feel heard, valued, understood. So it's validating, it's encouraging them, it's saying, the positive things that you see about them. And we tend to, as humans, focus on the negative, the worst, the bad, the ugly, and the worst in people and experiences. And I like to teach and share, well, what's the positive? What do you envision that your life could be different as? And take those steps, one baby step at a time or one leap at a time. But we can shift our minds, our thoughts, our actions, and our choices, and be, not become, but be that extraordinary person that other people want to be around, right? And bring your skills and gifts to the table.
I love that. And you brought up a good point about having a choice. And for a lot of people, they don't realize they have a choice. What was it that happened for you to realize that it was actually a choice that you had to show up and to really be that extraordinary person in whatever it was that you were pursuing?
Great question. So I have realized in my 58 years, I will share how old I am. In my 58 years, that when I look back,
I know I need a birth certificate on that. It just
I don't look that old, right? When I look back, that part of me had shut down about age 5 or 6. And I think because it was different, and unique. And so it didn't necessarily fit what the world expects of us as humans. And then it reawakened when I went through a terrible 7 years of fibromyalgia and almost took my life. I didn't take my life, but the condition, brought me down to a point where I was literally rolling out of bed and couldn't think, and all the symptoms tenfold. And I finally looked up, shook my fists. I said, take me, heal me, because I'm not doing this anymore. So that part of me that I think had shut down in my childhood was like, get me out of here. I need to express. I need to evolve. I need to transform this person that I had become, to realize and recognize that bright light within me that had been snuffed out for many reasons, which is a whole nother conversation. But so I healed. I self-healed in 3 months. A lot of just doors open, things came into my life. And that was the beginning of the path for who I have become, and continue to remember who I am, and be that light to help others to recognize that they are extraordinary, they are unique, they are special. There is something about each of us that we can bring to society, to ourselves even, that makes this world just a little bit better than it was yesterday.
I love that. And so you said you self-healed in 3 months. So for somebody who's watching,
yes,
and they just don't have any hope, they're just, just used to following somebody else's blueprint, what advice would you give them about following their own voice in that situation?
right. To look inward and feel in yourself what's missing, and what is it that will resonate with you to make you stronger again. And for me, it was the all natural, going back to nature, nurture, and finding what was important to me in my sense of well-being. And that was connecting back to who I truly am, which is a spiritual person, someone connected to something greater than who I am and what I am, to the kindness and the gentleness of that inner person that can inspire and encourage myself to take those steps that need to be taken in order to strengthen, to have clarity, to have that courage to face the world as who I am, and not feel alone, and not feel misunderstood, and to really again, honor. And what I did was I set myself a protocol, but it kind of came through me. So it wasn't a conscious effort. It
Mm-hmm.
was more of, I want to live, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so things literally started to show up, that law of attraction factor.
Mm-hmm.
And I followed it. I kind of paid attention to, well, does this feel right? Does this feel good? And if it did, I pursued it.
Mm-hmm.
And as part of my healing, I also got my master's in transpersonal psychology. And what that is, for people who don't know the word transpersonal, is understanding and studying the mind and body connection, understanding how important our thoughts are,
Mm-hmm.
on the choices that we make, and how all of that is part of the creation that we have in our life and what we experience. So, from the science perspective, we have neural pathways, and
Mm-hmm.
we can literally shift those neural pathways in our DNA. Really, the part of us that says, "Well, this is who you are. This is what you need to be. This is where you've come from." And that may be true, but that doesn't mean who we have to be moving forward. And we can change and shift that path. And what I discovered during my healing is that because of my due diligence and changing my thoughts all to positive, I
Mm-hmm.
am healthy. I am what I wanted to be. And the
Mm-hmm.
list is long. And I affirmed that every day. So one day I had an experience where the word sickness and disease, literally I could feel it. I saw it like in my imaginary, mind, when I
Mm-hmm.
was kind of in a meditative state, came flying at me, went over my head, and I was like, whoa, okay, what was that? Because I've never experienced anything like that. And what I realized after talking to some friends and people, like, what did I just experience? I had shifted. I had shifted my paradigm. And that was
Mm-hmm.
a message in letting me know you're no longer in sickness and disease. You're now in health and healing. And so that fast forwarded and put me on a fast track to the completion of my healing, and things that maybe I was participating in before, I was getting resistance to participating in. So a lot of things that dropped away that wasn't for my highest good and not part of the health and healing paradigm, and things that were good for that started to show up. And I went organic, exercised with a purpose, got regular massages. I took care of me on
Mm-hmm.
all levels: mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional. And it just really propelled me into taking ownership of who I am now. Since that point, and that was like 15 years ago, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, since then, it's been a lifelong journey
Mm-hmm.
of more lessons and more awareness and understanding what it takes to be 100% authentic, authentically me in that extraordinary, unique place.
Love that. And you mentioned if things feel right. And I'm at that point now. I understand how things feel. But for people, I know when I was in depression, I didn't know anything about feeling. I was numb. I was on autopilot and just
Right.
trying to make it through a day. So for people who are trying to figure out, how do you get this feeling? What is it that you're doing that you're able to feel something? So for me, it's just like a natural thing now. It's like, it is kind of hard to explain. So for somebody who's watching and you're talking about if it feels right, what would you
Mhm.
say to them? How would you explain that?
That's a great question, and just to continue with what you said, it's a way of being. So it's
Mhm,
hard to explain because it's just how you show up in everyday's experiences.
mhm,
But for someone who wants to get to that place,
mhm,
in my ebook, I explain the element of if it feels good, um, 90 to 100%, then you're on the right track and the right path. So
mhm,
you can gauge it by testing yourself and saying, okay, what percentage on a scale of 1 to 100 does it feel good? And if it's 20%, you got a long way to go. You do not want to go in that direction. If it's 50%, okay, you're halfway there. You're doing good, but there's still some work to do. There's still some things to resolve or heal or whatever the situation is. And then if you're hovering around 85, 90, there's just a little tweaking. But between 90, 95, and 100, you're right on. And that's how you can gauge if it's truly your truth, feeling good and not feeling good. And it's all about a scale.
I love that. Now, so what do you do to kind of protect that kind of mindset? Because, it's not normal, I think. I don't want to say that it's not normal, but a lot of people don't experience that for
Well,
whatever
no.
reason.
Yeah, well, it's understanding the foundation you're standing on. So if you were to imagine, so let's go, I'm going to take you through this quick exercise. So
Okay.
imagine you're standing on a foundation, like the foundation of a house. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we're the house and we're standing on the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
How solid is it? Does it have cracks? Does it have crevices? Are the pieces missing? How solid is that foundation? What are the words that you see embedded? How when people lay cement and you can draw a heart or you write words for the same thing. Our physical being existence has a foundation from which we operate. And most people are operating from fear, anxiety, stress, uncertainty, the past, the
Mm-hmm.
future. We're not present. So
Right.
it's learning how to be present with all of that noise, all of that distraction, to be able to hear and experience and see and take in what is your innate inner guidance, but also the guidance that's outside of us.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can bring that into center and ground, and you can see a foundation and build a foundation that is solid and has those positive aspects that you want in your life, but you don't have, which would be trust, feeling safe,
Mm-hmm.
love, value, attention, getting the attention that feels good and that you feel you deserve, worthiness. I mean, the list can go on.
Mm-hmm.
And flight or fight, fight or flight, flight or fight, yeah, flight or fight, to say right, is how we're heavy on the left side. This isn't working. The mental mind and the world's against me, or that person. They really made me angry, and I could say some deeper words than that. But for your show, I'll be gentle.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's to shift to the other side of the unconditional love and the passion and the joy and the happiness. And what does it take to have that in your life? What can you let go of? What can you
Mm-hmm.
remove, replace? And it's work. It's work in the sense that you have to take action. You have to take that step. You have to make the change has to occur.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. We
Mm-hmm.
can't wait for somebody else to do that for us. It's our responsibility. So there's a system that's part of the grand mastermind of the global universe. I like to say, because there's principles of the universe that are at play 24/7 that cannot be changed. So when
Mm-hmm.
you understand those principles and you apply those to your life, along with the intention of where you want to be, as if you're already there, the only thing that can happen is you move out and away from that foundation of destruction and whatever's pulling you down into the things that will pull you up, and that includes people, that includes experiences, thoughts, emotions, and feelings.
Love that. I mean, this has been a master class. That's awesome. I mean, that really was a good explanation. So now we're thinking about minimalism, and so RV living. I mean, explain to us how, you came up with that concept and what does that look like for you? I mean, what kind of things did you have to let go of, so to speak, in order to embrace that?
So at this point in my life, my husband and I have decided to transition out of the traditional home living into permanent living in an RV.
Mm-hmm.
So we we both love nature. We both love the outdoors. I grew up camping and fishing. He grew up in the outdoors and was in the RV industry. So we had all the knowledge and experience with it. And a couple of years before COVID shut everything down in 2020, we had started going camping once a month as a rule of thumb to allow us to decompress and get back to nature nurture so that when we came back to our careers and the things we were doing, we were refreshed and renewed. So it was our way of letting go, releasing, and rejuvenating in order to be in the present moment with the work that we do, to be there for our clients and for ourselves. So we decided that we would up it to a month at a time when we could manage it. So for a couple of years, we went camping for a month. And that was the experience that sealed the deal. And we were like, okay,
Now, were you like the tent camping or in the cabin?
no, we're glamping, but I don't make any excuses for that. You know what? I gotta have
It still
AC.
is. It still is.
Yeah,
You're right. That's good
yeah,
stuff.
it
Okay.
is. It's like the tiny homes, you know, that are out there now,
Right.
but
Right.
it's camping, so that way we can park it and take off with our truck when need be. But
Mhm.
last year we upgraded to a fifth wheel because we knew we were taking that leap,
Mhm.
and we're excited. We're ready because it's the best of both worlds for us
Mhm.
because we can travel with it
Mhm.
and see different places, and also still work, still do what we do best and what we love to do, and be there for the community and the world for the things that we provide to again help it become a better place. And the cool thing is that it's caused other people to want to either buy an RV or take their RV and dust it off and start camping. And other people are actually doing the same thing and deciding to go full time.
I love
So,
that. Now,
yeah.
my only question is because we have this tradition. So my kids, it's their birthday, and my mom always sends everybody their infamous box, and it's with their birthday stuff in it. So, what address do you have? If you're going to be traveling and stuff, what do you do about mail?
Right. Well, part of this is because we're going to be helping to take care of my dad as well. He's, bless his heart, 91 years old
Oh,
and
wow.
still in his home. But, age takes its toll. So we'll be
Mhm.
close to him
Mhm.
majority of the time. And so we'll be using his address and taking care
Mhm.
of him and being there for his last years. How about, he could be around 10 more years. Who knows?
Amen.
But it gives us the ability to
Mhm.
spend quality time with him
Mhm.
and help him out in the ways that he needs it. So it's
I
kind of
love
dual
that.
function. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so what myths did you find out about RVs that a lot of people might have, as you were exploring if this was going to be an option for you?
Like why not to do this?
Or like things that you thought that were just normal things that like RV, you can't do this, you can't do that, but you found out, wow, you can do a lot of things that you didn't think you could do with
Well,
our.
that's a tough question for me because I've grown up camping. So for me, I know I can do anything. Being in an RV. So, the only challenge could be that if it needed to go in the shop, then you got to find some place to live while it's in the shop. If you're in an RV full time,
Mhm.
and that would be the only challenge. They do have remote business. There are businesses that are remote that will come out to where you are to try to repair and fix
Oh,
things.
okay.
But because my husband was in the industry, he can pretty much repair and fix most any normal things that might break down or have issues with. Um, but otherwise, it's no different than being in a hotel. It's just you have your own individual space,
Mhm.
and it's no different than being in a house or an apartment. because we have everything necessary. There's a refrigerator and there's a pantry and there's sinks and stove and oven and microwave. I mean, we got all the amenities. Like I said, we're glamping, but it's okay. We've been through the tent because we started with tents, then the pop up, then we have the mini me, which was like a 16-footer, and we slept on the fold down table that folded into a bed.
Okay.
And then I had enough of that. That was like 6 years. I was like, okay, I need a bed. So then we went to the 20, I think it was like 24, 26 foot. And then we went to the 30 foot. And because we decided to go full time, that's the only reason we loved the last one, but we needed more space because we are going to have a desk and computer, and we wanted, that king size bed in the bedroom. So that's why we have the RV. Yeah. Or yeah.
So explain to me, what are some, you probably know how to get rid of some stuff and think about, the non-negotiables, or really narrow down what your necessities are. So what are some tips that you could give us about maybe some things that we just wouldn't even consider that we can start with being minimal with?
I'm going to say 99.9% of everything we have, we don't need.
So true. Okay.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea how many things and I came from a huge house. Now Trevor and I got married 11/11/11. So he came from his house. I came from mine. And I still, unfortunately, kept a lot of stuff I probably should not have. But so as I'm going through things, I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I even keep this? And when we've gone camping every month for as a rule of thumb, every time I step in the camera, I think to myself, I have thought to myself, can I live like this? And for me, it's an emphatic yes. So as I'm reading through the apartment that we live in, it has not been difficult or challenging to let go and get rid of things. Instead, it's been a relief. And as things are taken off the wall, and as things are thinning out, I'm actually feeling more free already. Yeah. Because when you have things and it's clutter, your life, it feels cluttered. There's everything's energy. Everything is interactive with who we are as an energy being. And so when we get rid of clutter in the house, it helps us to get rid of that clutter that we might feel in ourselves or around ourselves. So I would say you could test it by taking a closet or a corner of a room and clean it up and clean it out. And it just opens up the space, opens up the air. And then you're going to want to do more. So be careful.
Love that. Now, so starting just with the closet is what you would recommend for people, because some people, it's everywhere. Okay, I'm speaking for myself.
Yes. Well, let me ask you, how many pairs of shoes do you have?
I'm narrowing it down. I probably now have about 10.
Oh gosh, good for you.
And when I travel, I love to just travel with a carry-on. I don't bring luggage. I buy stuff when I'm there and ship it back to my house if I have to or something. But I'm all about, I just don't want to have a lot of stuff.
Oh, that's good. Because I will say that is one area I'm not struggling, but I am like, oh, can I get rid of these? But I like them. Do I want to keep them? Do I need them when I'm camping? I am going through that. But absolutely start with either, if you have a room in your house or apartment that you close the door and it's stacked box to box, floor to ceiling. Yeah, start with that room. Or a closet that you can barely open. Yeah, just it's so important to have that clear space, because it does impact our mental and emotional state very much.
That is so true. And I'm just a bookaholic. I just can't go past a store sometimes without going in there and grabbing a book, and I don't know why I'm thinking I can read all these books. I have them everywhere. So
I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that. I actually donated to a Unity Church probably like 300 books 6 or 7 years
What?
ago.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can believe it. I don't know what my problem is. It's like, I know I have a lot of books. Why am I still buying them knowing
because
I don't have time to read them?
you're a lifelong scholar. You like to learn. I know. Well, what I got to the point with books where if I read it for the umpteenth time and I feel
Mhm.
like I know this information, it's okay to let that one go. Right. If
Right,
I feel like I'm just reading this, it's like, okay, been there, done that, I get that.
right.
It's time to let that one go.
Mhm,
And I will say that I am picking and choosing a stack of books to keep in the camper. And
mhm.
then I'm strategizing to take my bookshelves to places where I can still access my books and be able to switch them out from time to time. So,
Yeah, that makes sense. Well,
yeah.
this has been wonderful, Eileen. I mean, really, I could be going on for hours of great content that you shared. So, what is the best way for the audience to get a hold of you?
Great question. So, our website for OTEL Universe is oteluniverse.com. I'm on LinkedIn, Eileen Bild. I have a YouTube, Eileen Bild, Instagram, Eileen.Bild. Um, my email is either coach at eileenbild.com or info at OTELproductions.com.
Love that. And so, what final advice, words, or anything you would like to share with the audience today?
I love to encourage people to live fearlessly and live life to the fullest and don't sweat the small stuff and find something every day to smile about, laugh about, and enjoy and love the people that are in your life.
Love that. That is great advice. Well, we definitely appreciate you coming on and sharing all your wisdom and insight with us today.
You're welcome, and I was really excited to be here and talk with you, and we'll definitely do it again.
Definitely. Well, we want to thank all of you guys for watching with us today. And I encourage you to reach out to Eileen, especially if you're over there trying to clean out a closet or get rid of some clutter. Okay, she can give you some tips. So
Absolutely.
it's amazing what you can accomplish with a conversation. That's what I say. My world changes every day from conversations. So I encourage you to reach out. And we do want to thank you guys for spending time out of your day to join us in this conversation. So we thank you so much for watching, and we will see you all on the next episode. Bye for
Uh,
now.